What's up, guys? What is up? Welcome to another edition of Unwind with Raya. We got my puppy, we got Phoebe, we got me, we got you, we got mint tea. It's a party. It's a party. Welcome to this Thursday night edition of Unwind with Raya. We're just gonna be chatting. Just gonna be shooting the breeze a little bit. So come on in, get cozy, wrap a big old blanket around you. Like you got a sofa right where you are. So come on in. Let's just gab. A little girl talk, right? Um, but yeah, it's Thursday. I made this stream earlier in the week. I think I told you guys that I'd be here, but if I'm being honest, I just haven't felt like streaming these past few days. I guess I just gotten to that point where, like, man, you have those days where you don't really do much, and it's like, I don't know why. There isn't anything, I guess, interesting enough that happened that you guys would probably find intriguing, unless you just like me bantering about just dumb stuff that pops in my head. Like, unless that's like you like it, but I never know. So I'm just like, I want you guys to at least be somewhat entertained or pacified or whatever it is. And if I don't have anything that I feel like I can bring to the table, then I don't know. I don't know. I didn't feel up to it, which, I'm going to have those weeks. But, and it was like one of those things, like Tuesday night I got off of work and I was going to do a music stream, and I got home and I was like, you know what sounds better than a music stream? Cozying up with my puppy and laying in bed, and that's him right there moving the plant. He's always got to lay right next to me. Hey, puppy. Actually, puppy, back up. Back up, buddy. Back up. Hey, back up over there. Puppy, come over here. He's right near the power cord, so if he rolls the wrong way, which he does all the time, he's gonna yank that thing out, and it'll be bye stream. But yeah, I Tuesday night I go home and I was like, man, I do want to do. Part of me really wanted to do a music stream, but like I've been listening to music all day, and I was kind of musiced out. And I just wanted to turn on some of I think Foozly was streaming that night, so I wanted to turn on some of that and just relax and decompress. And yesterday, same thing. I got home and I was like, I planned on streaming, almost doing like a surprise stream, but I was like, no, I'd rather just cozy up with my puppy. It's been like one of those weeks where I just kind of keep to myself, and just kind of, sometimes the thoughts just prefer to stay in my head instead of out in space. So I don't know. It's a good little recharge. But two really good things that happened since I saw you last. One, I worked on some music this past weekend, and it's been a minute. I've got enough songs for like 2 albums. I just need to spend a weekend and compile. Actually, I've got enough songs for like 4 albums, if I'm being honest, because I've got one that's like in a similar vein of the music I make, like the intro you hear every time and the outro. One in that kind of vein, with enough for like maybe 12, 13 songs. And then I've got another like indie rock kind of like pop punkish album I'm working on, and I got enough for that one too. And then I've got like a nostalgic one that's I've got 10, 12 songs. And I've got a almost like a vaporwave meets Explosions in the Sky, like vaporwave meets post rock album that I originally wrote for a friend of mine who was going through a really tough time, just like hella anxiety, so I wrote it and made it for them. I just been sitting on it. I need to release it. Um, but it's one of those things where I'm worried that, not worried, but it's definitely. I mean, I don't sing at all in it. You know, it's very left field for all the other stuff that I've done, which I personally love. But I don't know how everybody else feels about that. You know, if you're expecting something and you play it and it's just like all instrumental, like a specific niche, like driving around at night kind of vibes. Just very like not drum and bassy, but like very dum dum dum, like melodic, very very. I don't know. It's very good trance music, like not like okay. It's very much like just zone out music. That's what I mean. Um, in between like meditation music and vaporwave, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I worked on some more music this past weekend, which is fun to dust off the rust a little bit, because I've been so focused on learning the piano and getting like where I can perform with that I've kind of let some of my music creation weekends slide by, and but this weekend I worked on, maybe I'll play some at the next music stream, but they're real rough demos. But I got a indie song that I came up with, and a nice little dark. I remember a buddy of mine. He actually was here. One of these is nice. He called my music goth hop, and that's like the best. That's the exact. It's goth hop. It's like dark R&B like vibes, like emo R&B. If you can picture that, that's what it is. It's like dark tones, kind of ominous, but also in dark subject matter. But like it's got a nice beat. Um, and very less. It's not like, you know, like XXX or like Lil Peep. They're like very drug heavy. They're very like chaotic. That chaotic energy, and like, which is cool. But like I like the more subdued, I guess, more pensive. I don't know, almost reserved to a point, but still like honest. That's the kind of like vein I'm like I like to live in. Um, so yeah, I will be eventually one of these weekends. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna really focus on it. Maybe sometime this month, and I'm gonna just master or mix at least one of the albums and put it out there, because I want to put it out there for summertime, because there's some good summertime vibes on there. I'll probably do the instrumental one first, just because I don't know. I really want to share that with my friend, and so they can have it, and you know, it's like I wrote the whole thing, like I composed the whole thing and played all the instruments and got it to a point where like, and now it's just sitting on my computer, right? And that does them no good. The thought, like having the thought is good, but not acting on it and not showing them it, or not putting it out there for them to listen to, is like, that's the whole point, right? They can't feel any of this that I'm just imagining. So I think I've just decided, you've inspired me. I'm gonna master that thing and get it out, and at least so they can hear it. But if you guys like it too, it'll be on my Spotify's, and maybe I'll make a specific YouTube playlist with that on there. 'Cause yeah, I think that'd be nice. And who knows, maybe you'll vibe with it, or maybe you won't. I don't know. Sometimes I'll listen back. You gotta be in a specific mood to listen to a lot of the stuff I make. And sometimes I'll listen back to that album or like those songs specifically, and like, if I'm not in the mood, I'm like, I don't know about this. But then if it's the right mood, I'm just like, yeah. So that just means I don't know. I like it. The other thing that happened was I can't get into details too much, but I've started writing this project. I'm working on this project that I think could be really, 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 really good, like really cool. And it'd be kind of nice to come back to this, like timestamp this, the 18th episode, and 18, man. Um, but we'll timestamp this, and it'll be fun to look back on it if this project ever takes off. But so I've been kind of, that's what I've been doing like the other evenings too while I'm cozying up in Nashville. I just kind of start writing. Because if you guys don't know, writing is my first love. Like writing is the one thing I remember I'll never forget. I was going into sixth grade, and for one of these like clubs or something I was joining, I can't remember what it was. Oops. Hold. I'm still here. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll be back. Hold. I'm still here, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry. Can you still hear me? Yeah. We're gonna get this fixed so I can you can see my lovely sleepy face. Or not. Maybe you like it better this way. Which I'm not offended. I respect it. Okay. All right. We're back. We're back. When in doubt, just unplug things several times and plug them back in. Um, Hopefully that sticks around. But you know what? I put in a long day of work today, so maybe I don't look the best. Maybe that's OBS telling me that I'm not. I don't look. It's trying to do me a favor, right? It's trying to tell me, yo, like, I should have beautified before I came on, but you get the real me here. You get the real me. You get the post work kind of de-stress, and kind of the stress level is a little bit. It's not. I don't. It's not like if this is the most. I'm like probably about here, and the lowest is here. So I'm like just typical after work kind of vibe. So you get the real me. You get the Thursday night, no glam, you know, work fit. But yeah, when I was going into sixth grade, I was getting into some like I can't remember like maybe it was a science club or something. One of the requirements was you had to write an essay about an animal or something, and I remember distinctly making this crazy story up about owls, and I like it was one of those things that I kept writing and writing and writing and writing and writing, and like there was a time limit, but like the teacher was real cool and she knew my older brother. Her name was Miss Peterson, but she got married and then she went by Miss Weeks, but like she was essentially Miss Frizzle in all forms. Like she was a science teacher, a middle school science teacher. She was the definition of Miss Frizzle. Like we're still Facebook friends. She's one of the coolest human beings. Like she's one that like makes you believe in teachers, and like she I can't even begin to count how many like students probably went into science because of her, or teaching because of her, because she really showed like the just how important it is to have a good teacher. But anyways, I remember she let me go extra time because I wanted to finish the story, and it was like I'm talking. I was like front and back of one sheet, and I was doing front and back on the other sheet. And keep in mind, like most of the other kids, like I was looking around and they were like doing half a sheet, maybe one full page at most. And here I was like almost like 2 pages front and back, which is like 4 pages in middle school time, which is like 12 pages in elementary. So it's like, if we're doing that math, also I wasn't good at math, so take that with a grain of salt. Um, Actually, I was really good at math, but I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I kept writing and writing and writing and writing, and this story just kept evolving. And like, I remember at the end of it, my mom came to pick me up, and my teacher, Miss Peterson, was like ended up reading it, and they read it together or something, and like they were so amazed or fascinated because it was like a really, I don't know if it's a good story, but it's just the fact that it was so in depth and it was like off the cuff. It wasn't like I had like time to develop this. It was just like, here you go, you got 30 minutes to write this story, and I was just eating that up. And partly because, no, it was like 95% of that. The reason like I really resonated with it was because of their reaction, and they kind of hyped me up. And like that's why I think it's important to have good teachers and good, and my mom was a big part of that too. It was like that kind of fueled it for me. Like, yeah, maybe I was already good at writing or had a knack for it, I guess, but the fact that they hyped me up and they like recognized it, and then like they put that in my head that, oh, Chris, you might be a good writer, that like took it to a whole nother level. Because like I could have just been out here like writing and writing and knowing that like I was good at it or liked it, but the fact that like I think it's something I'm best at came from them like hyping me up. So shout out to my mom, shout out to Miss Weeks for instilling that in me. But ever since then, it made me look at writing differently, because I realized, I looked around and I saw, as a 11-year-old, I compare myself to everyone around, right? That's what you do in your school. Like pretty much that's what schools are, just breeding grounds for competitiveness, like pitting people against each other. But I looked around and I was like, man, everybody left a long time ago. Like all their stories, the teacher's not talking about their stories, they're talking about my story. And so yeah, that was the one of the biggest turning points in my life, in terms of like, it's when I realized, okay, like I actually really like to write. But yeah, so writing was actually my first love, more than sports, more than music. Like what I think I'm naturally the best at is writing, if that makes sense. And so I've continued to write and kind of develop, and it's actually for me, it's like my favorite way to communicate. I'm the one that like writes handwritten letters, because it's like, I don't want to say easier, because I can communicate like face to face too, but I just enjoy writing more. Like I can compose my thoughts kind of eloquently and poetically, and it feels good, and it like releases like the tension in my mind when I'm just like flowing. So yeah, that's what I'm getting on now, is I'm working on this project that and I don't want to spoil anything, but I asked someone to kind of write it with me, and they're on board for now. I gotta send him the stuff and make sure he's kind of vibing with it. But like that would be so much fun, because I've always wanted to work on a project with this person. And like I said, I'm keeping it close to my chest, because well, the biggest reason is because I love, there's so much like what's the word, I get so much fuel to my fire, I guess, my inspiration and my creative like just burn when nobody knows what I'm up to. Right. I love just disappearing for a week or two and coming back with just a new like a really good, like a novel or a short story or something. Like whenever like the moment I let somebody else into, or like the world into what I'm doing, is the moment my creative spark dies. So it's like one of those things where I can't really, I that's mainly why I'm not getting into it, is because I don't want to share it with you guys and then have it up there, and then then it's like it's out there, and it's like, I'm just it's starting to blossom, and it's just getting too much sunshine, and it just dies. And that's how it feels. Like, I wish I could explain it, but it's how it's always been. I like to keep all my creative endeavors like close to the chest until a point where I know I'm gonna make it through. Like I won't share anything about an album before it's like I've got more than like halfway done, because then the ball is rolling farther enough along where I can, like, the snowball, the little snowball at the hill, like, tumbles down and gets heavier and heavier and heavier and bigger, and I need it to be at a certain, like, size or, like, weight before I share it, because for some reason, like, especially with today's society, like, social media driven, like, the moment I throw it out there is the moment where a lot of my inspiration and my drive dies. Like, I love the anticipation, like, just knowing in the back of my brain, okay, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. I can't wait to put it out there. That feels a big chunk of it. So yeah, I'm working on this thing, and I asked if, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be pretty good. Because like I said, that's the one thing I fall back on, and the one thing I'm pretty confident that I'm good at is writing. But we'll see. And I'm one of those, like, I've noticed when I get into something, like, especially with writing more so than anything, I get obsessed. Like, I get my imagination is so strong that, like, that's why it's a big reason why I haven't been streaming these past couple days, is because I get so immersed in this piece of work that I'm writing on. Like, I will once I start writing it and, like, daydreaming about it, like, the real sign for me, you'll know, like, if you're ever, like, I've dated some women in the past who kind of know that, like, the one surefire sign is if I roll over and open my notes app on my phone in the middle of the night. That's when you know that's when you know I'm in trouble. That's when you know something is clicking in my brain, because sleep, I'm all about that sleep. You know me. I'm all about that sleep. I need my 10 to 12 hours a night. I need that half the day kind of sleep. So when I'm sacrificing that for an idea, is when you know I've got it. Like, I'm onto something. Like, I get this, like, lightning spark in my, like, almost in my spine, where it's like I almost have to like just let it out. So, like, an idea, I'll be falling asleep, and the biggest time when ideas hit me are when I'm trying to go to sleep or when I'm driving. Those are the two worst times to, like, get your note app out. So yeah, like, you'll know, and that's what I've been doing these past couple nights, is I'll, like, fall asleep, and as I'm falling asleep, I'll be thinking of, like, the story and, like, the setting and the conflicts, and I really, really get immersed. I really, really like the tone of what I'm going. Like, I can visualize it all. Like, I can, like, right now, if I close my eyes, I can see my main character, and it's a story. Like, it's without giving too much away, it's a story. Okay. And so when I close my eyes, I can visualize my character, and I can visualize, the way he's navigating through this mood, this time, and I can see it. And the more I think on it, the more it develops, and the more I can hear the dialogue and hear the laughter and hear the tone of voice. Like, I get into it. Like, and that's what excites me. I don't know if everyone else is like that. Like, I know a lot of people who can't visualize it like that, which is why it lends itself to me being confident in it. And I think you need a little bit of confidence in anything you do, right? So that's why, like, it fuels the fire of me, like, thinking, okay, I can be kind of good, because I can see it. When I get immersed in a story I'm writing, it's so strong that when I come out into, like, I say come out, but, like, when I go back into, like, the world or whatever, like, if I come back from thinking about that story, it's almost like I'm returning. Right? I can't explain it other than, like, when you get, like, immersed in, like, a really good book, right? Or, let's say, a good TV series, like, you've watched, like, the last 6 episodes, and, like, for example, when I was watching The Walking Dead, I binged that, like, the second season, one of the best seasons of television on ever, and once I I would watch like 6 episodes in like the middle of the night, and then I would go take my dog out, and I could swear I would be like hearing like zombies down the road, or like then I'd be like feeling like I was in there with Rick, like I just like felt almost that a zombie was gonna pop out at any moment, and I was just still in that world. Like there wasn't like a distinct break. That's the way it feels after, or like while I'm creating something, like something I'm writing. Like I just get so heavily immersed in it that like it's borderline insanity. Like it's the one thing that like I don't know what it is. It's something I know while I'm in it, it feels special. Like it feels cool, and it's like I'm excited. And these sparks only hit, you know, once every while. And it's something I've been learning as I'm living more and more. Like I gotta take hold of them when they hit, because I always think every time they hit and I don't do anything, like I'm like, oh, I'll find another one soon, and they don't catch, you know. So this one, it's strong. It's strong, and I'm excited to see if the person I asked digs it. Um, what I'm planning on doing is writing it, just getting it a little bit more, the idea polished off a little bit more, and then I'll send it over to him and see what he thinks. But yeah, man, I'm talking like 1 a.m. I'll roll over, open my notes app, just type a scene idea, and then I'll try to go back to sleep. I grab Nash and cuddle him, and then 2 minutes later I'm right over. I'm rolling over, and I'm opening up with a piece of dialogue or a funny like idea, you know, just for the memory bank, just come back and like maybe they'll be included in what I'm doing, but it feels good. It feels good when you're excited about something, an idea, and it's like, even if it never sees a day of light, even if it never comes to anything, it's like the amount of excitement it brings me just creating it is more than enough, you know. Like I have so many stories I have never shared, but they were so much fun to write. And I would say one day I'll release them, but I probably won't. Let's be honest. Um, but some of them, like this one, is the first time I've ever asked anybody to like collaborate with. But if it becomes something, you'll know why. And like I said, I want to timestamp this so that we can come back to this. And so anybody watching, kind of remember this one, so we can draw back to it in I don't know, a few months to a year or something, and see if anything pans out. And maybe not. Maybe it'll just I don't know. I don't want to put that negativity out there, but as of now, I'm just having fun. I'm super excited. Like, honestly, after this, well, maybe not. It's going to be kind of late, but I want to write some more. Like, I just one of those things. I was driving for work all day today. It was like a 3-hour drive to the site I had to get to, and the whole way down, I was just honing this story, honing it, like just getting it. And I was there with them. Like I was going 70 down the highway, but also I was right here in this scene with my character, and he was going through it. And then I had this other character I'm writing, and she's a vibe, and she's going through it, and I'm just like kind of molding it together, and I think it could it's the first one in a long time where I'm like, yo, this could be something. This could be something. It's something I would love. It's one of those things. If it's a story I love this much, I know other people will love it. And I know not all of creating is about other people enjoying it. That's not what I do it for. But it is cool to think that like it could resonate with people. And I don't know. I almost slipped. I almost gave a little bit too much away, but yeah. So that's what has been exciting, and why I've been kind of why I hadn't been streaming this past couple days. Um, but yeah, that was a big part of it too, because then that like took all my creative like energy. So then it's like when I come here, I don't feel like I have anything to say because I've just expressed, all of this, out already to my computer, and that's just like, well, now what? But also, man, I love, I feel like I was thinking about this today. I feel like okay, there's a scene and definitely maybe, but like it's a montage of like two. He's like a. If you haven't seen it, it's Ryan Reynolds, and the scene I'm talking about is with Rachel Weisz, who is. Can we talk about gorgeous? Rachel Weisz, Weisz. There's an S and a Z for some reason at that. I don't know. Like, figure it out. Like, a Z is just a sharp two, and I don't. Anyways, um, but there's a scene where they're like playing footsie and they're on their laptops together, just writing, and that's how I feel like. Like when I'm writing, I feel like I'm in like a movie montage. I got my tea or my chocolate milk or whatever, and I'm usually I'm just laying in bed, and I got like the sun and this beautiful spring, and maybe I've got music or I've got Foosley going in the background, and I got my dog, and I'm cozied up, and I'm just going, and I'm miles, I'm 1,000 miles away, just writing, and it makes me feel so good. It makes me feel like I'm in a movie, which is fun. It's like it's what I was talking about. I think a few times ago, but it's one of those few things. I think in life, the the whole purpose is to find those things that make you forget to eat. You know. Now your boy. I love me some food. I'm never not thinking about food for the most part. But like there are things that like I said, writing, making music, and graphic design. Any digital art. Those three things will just make me lose track of time. Like I will forget to eat when I'm creating something like that. Um, so I think life is all about finding those things and what that is for you. But for me, writing is one of those things. Like I'll spend the whole day. I remember I wrote a book. I wrote a novel, and this novel, the only person who read it was my mom. I need to put it out. I haven't even workshopped it really. It's I wrote it maybe I don't know 6 years ago, but it's really really dark, and it's really really long. Like it's longer than think of. I remember looking up the word count, and my mom was a trooper. I think she read most of it, and maybe even all of it. But this thing was longer than. It was probably longer than Jane Eyre, and Jane Eyre is like 500 pages. No, it's probably around 500. Like if I had to clock it, it was probably 400 to 500 pages, and it didn't need to be that long. I mean, if I'm being honest, I could cut out and make it much better in 200 pages, 250, but this thing was like 400 pages, and yeah, it was dark, but it was really good. But it was one of those where I just lost myself in. I think it was after I graduated college. And so I was living with my parents for the summer, and I had nothing. It might have been that Sons of Anarchy summer too. And I got this spark, got this story idea, and I just ran with it. And I would spend, I kid you not, 8 to 9 hours a day. I would hang out with my family. It was weird too because I was on the night owl time, so I'd wake up at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. in the summer, and then I'd hang out with my family until they went to sleep, and then probably about 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. I would just write, or midnight to 7 a.m. It would be a good 7-8 hours of just writing, and I would just lose myself, and I would forget to eat, and I'd look up, and the worst feeling was when the sun would come up, because I hate going to bed when the sun's up. But I just was writing, something maybe even it was at least 30 to 40 pages a night, like consistent pages. And then like the following night, I would edit what I had made or created and then keep going. Um, and yeah, I might put it online just to have it out there. It's just sitting on my computer. Um, so maybe there are a few chapters in there that resonate with people because it's. I honestly I haven't read it and I haven't even looked at it in 5 years, but it could be good. It could be interesting at the very least. Um, but yeah, that was like I want to say a month straight where I just was in that zone of just writing, and that was like a long novel too. That was like, I kid you not, 400 to 500 pages, like, and it was a month. It only took me a month to write that because I just get so locked in. I get so obsessed. I get so like zoned into it that it's just I don't even think about it. It's just so much fun. It's like one of the few times in life where I'm like completely in the zone, which is crazy because I'm so detached from the world when I'm doing it. Like you couldn't tell me I could not tell you what was going on in the world in that month of time. All I remember is drinking mint tea with my little Sawyer, my the puppy, the Australian Shepherd. Before I had Nashville, we had Sawyer. Um, um, but he would cozy up with me. I think he enjoyed it because nighttime for dogs, you just go to sleep when your people go to sleep, right? But he had me up, so he got to have 24 hours of like people time. So he'd hang out with the family when they were up, and then I would get up and he would just stick with me when everyone went to sleep. And it was cool. He would just curl up with me, and I would just be laying there usually just on the floor, just typing away. And it was so cool. But yeah, that's where I'm at now. That's where I can't I apologize. I can't get into specifics because like I said, that'll kill my motivation. That's just who I am. But just know that I'm excited. This past week I've been really excited because I'm just like, man, it's such a cool story. It's something that I would love to see, if that makes sense, or read. It's something that I would be like excited about. So yeah. So fingers crossed. Keep your fingers crossed for me that I maintain the motivation, and it does mean a few less hours of sleep, but I'm okay with that if it's for the sake of creating something. But yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. I'll let you know if the person I asked, if what they decide, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, any writers out there? Anybody out there like to write? Or what's that thing that you lose sleep over? Or what's that thing that like you forget to eat about? Is it something creative? Is it something? Are you just a reader? Or you get really locked into TV shows? Whatever it is. Maybe it's crocheting, or maybe it's painting. I don't know. Maybe it's calligraphy. But yeah. So that's been my week. My week's been I've been in a different world. I've been in a completely different time and place. And it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. So yeah, if this ever gets out anywhere, I want to do one where I talk about the whole creative process and like the specifics and everything, because it's kind of, I don't know, I love seeing that, like when my favorite like people or creators like peel back the curtain a little bit and kind of give some insight on the process. I love that stuff. So maybe if this is something or something else I do, it turns, I don't know, I'll let you know. It's kind of cool. I don't know if you can hear from my computer, but I've got Foozley's live stream on, and she's screaming. I think they're playing horror games. And if you haven't checked out Foozley yet, do yourself a favor. After this stream or sometime this weekend, type in Foozley, Fuslie, into YouTube. You won't be disappointed. She's a streamer. She's pretty popular. My brother Nick put me onto her, and I've talked about her several times, but she's like one of my all-time favorites. She is hilarious. Like she'll make your gut bust laugh. Like last night, I was watching her. She was role playing streams, and had me just rolling, just dying, just like serious laughter. As an oxymoron as that sounds, it was just I was in stitches, and I don't even know what that phrase means, but I was in them. Um, but uh, but yeah, check Foozly out. She's hilarious. But but yeah, how you been? How you doing today? Was it a good day? Was it a rough day? Was it a bad day? Um, yeah, it's kind of funny now when I'm writing. When I get into that mode, I find that my dreams are so much more vivid. It's almost like it's almost like I fueled up my brain, and now like my dreams are like fully intense. You know, I use that creative engine in my mind, and it just doesn't quite shut off when I go to sleep until like the thoughts and the everything just keeps going, and I'm just like in this world. And I've been dreaming about A this week quite a bit. Not in like a romantic thing, but just she's been on my mind and like in my dreams. So, um, but yeah, and it's a big part of it is like I think it's because I'm writing and like it just like keeps my brain moving. Um, but yeah, let's see what else happened today. I listened to All the Smoke on my way back from where I was, and it's a podcast about NBA players, and well, they have all types of players on there. But I was listening to Isaiah Thomas, the former Detroit Piston, and it was really intriguing and interesting and funny. And then I listened to the one about Magic Johnson, which is super intriguing. And now I'm listening to one about John Sally, and it's like hilarious. Like John Sally, I forgot he was even in the movie Bad Boys, but he was a Detroit Piston player in the 80s and 90s, I think, and he's hilarious. And one of my favorite things recently is like hearing the stories from like 80s and 90s players. Like I'm so fascinated by the era of basketball, and it's cool to hear their stories about like Larry Bird and Dr. J and Michael Jordan and Scotty and Dennis Rodman, and it's so fascinating. Um, and it always inspires me to like in some shape or form do something. And I think tomorrow I'm gonna go to the gym, and after I lift, I'm gonna play some more basketball because it's been a few months since I've been to the court, and that was like the whole reason I got the membership. Well, that and to like be out and about. Like I got a gym membership so it would force me to be around people, if that makes any sense. Like it like I don't know if that's gonna resonate with anybody, but essentially I have my gym, like I had a home gym set up, like pretty much all the weights I really needed, and I would be perfectly content spending the rest like years just using that, and that'd be fine. But at some point I don't know. At some point I realized I could either be doing that all winter time and never seeing a single other person, or I could force myself to be out and about and at least experience a new setting, and maybe meet people, maybe not, maybe see other people, um, and honestly, looking back, I'm glad I did, because it is like, if anything, it's just given me a new set of experiences, and it's like it also coincides with like my grocery shopping, so I can do both at the same, like I'll go to the gym and I go grocery shopping like right next door, and that helps. And it's why I found out about the manicure place, which is cool. So it's like it's opened a lot of doors other than just the gym. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, as a single man, there's some cute people at the gym. I'm not gonna deceive you. I'm not gonna lie. Let's be honest. I'm gonna be honest on this thing. There's some pretty people that I would not have seen otherwise, or talked to, or joked around with. Um, but yeah, but that's the thing. I don't think I'll ever like. I don't. The gym is not the place I want to meet people. I might have even talked about this before. The gym is not the place I'm going to like date or like find somebody to date. You know, which is surprising because you would think, I love working out and I love being fit and I love like that's a big part of my life is like kind of trying to be healthy and move my body, and I don't necessarily need my partner to be my workout buddy or like, but like it aligns with my thoughts. It's like, they're at the gym, they want to kind of work on their health and be a little healthier and you would think that mindset you would, but it's not the gym is not conducive for me. Like I just put in my headphones and I am in my own land. I am in Chris land and I am just doing these sets and sometimes I forget people are even around me. But um so even though there's some gorgeous people at the gym, like it's just I doubt it's ever gonna come to anything for me because I'm not in that mindset while I'm at the gym. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. Do y'all meet people at the gym? Do y'all any of y'all meet people that you're dating based on the gym? Is that a thing? I'd be curious to know. I'd be curious to know. But but I don't know. Have y'all watched The Last Dance on Netflix about Michael Jordan and the Bulls, the '90s Bulls? Mm. Ooh, I'm getting sleepy. That's a good sign. Um, it's all that brain power I was using today with that story. Um, that '90s Bulls. I don't like where I put this. That '90s Bulls documentary is one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. Like it puts you in the vibes, my guy. Like it is such a good. Oh, I was gonna text. My bad, guys. Bear with me. You're gonna get the real me. I wanna text my friend back before it gets too late. Um, so pause. Hold on. I'll try to. I'll try to. You get the real me. So you come here often? Anybody use that line when they're picking up like dating? Is that a thing? Like I said, you getting the real me. You getting the real me. Sometimes I compose a message and the writer in me just has to like put it in the best, you know. I don't know. I'm very, very, very particular about my words and the words I choose, and especially like this is a person I really, really care about. So I'm always like conscientious of like the words I choose, and so I apologize for this little break. But think of it as a little break. You know, we'll go potty. We'll come back and we'll get into it. But let's see. Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm back. You get the real me. You get the quiet me sometimes. Because like I kid you not, that's who I am 99% of the time. It's just quiet. This is like I've said this countless times, but this is the most I talk the whole day, and the most I talk the whole week. I've talked more in these 18 episodes than I've probably talked in the last year and a half. Real talk. I mean, apart from talking to myself, but I feel like we all do that. And if we don't, well, we all do it, but we don't admit it. So there it is. Truth bombs. But yeah. You know, I was thinking the other day. I was thinking of like what I want, and like I was like driving around this beautiful stretch of North Carolina, like a back road. I was going like down a hill, and you could see the valleys, and you could see the green grass, and like there's a field of like bright yellow dandelions, and it was a perfect blue sky. It was a perfect afternoon, like it was like mid 60s, so it was like cool, and it was windy, and the trees were swaying a little bit, and I was driving along this back road, and the sun was shining just right, and I was like listening to the paper kites, and it was just so peaceful. And I was thinking about the future, and I was thinking about, you know, what I want, and what that looks like, and I think all I want in terms of like someone to be with, all I want is someone who is kind, and someone who I can laugh with, who is cool with doing a little homestead life, you know, where we get a little bit of land, not much, maybe a few acres. I don't need anything crazy. Maybe just a few acres where we have a few dogs, a few cats maybe. And the cats are negotiable because I love me some cats, but I love me some dogs more. But I love all animals. I have anything except for horses. But like just somebody who I can wake up on a rainy Saturday, and just kick it with, and cook with, and watch movies with, and do our own things together with. Or we can, someone to garden with, or to sit outside on the porch with and laugh. Laughter is the key for me. Laughter, that's all in the back of my brain. That's it. someone I can just laugh with and not take life too seriously. I've come to find out who I am like attracted to in life is just someone who doesn't doesn't not try too hard, but like doesn't take themselves or this whole thing too seriously. You know, someone who doesn't. Look, I can be serious sometimes too, and I can kind of get in my own head and think that this is the most important thing or this is the most or whatever like this, but someone who can balance that out with not taking it too serious. Like I'm the way I look at this is like we have this one run, you know, on this beautiful planet. We get this one run as far as we know. It's not me personally. My one run is not meant to just make money, and it's not meant to be in an office. It's not meant to pull 80 hours a week at a job. It's not meant for any of that. It's meant to be spooky and silly with your friends and make dumb jokes and love one another and be kind to one another and make each other's day with laughter or compliments, to be there for people in the tough times and to make the happy times better. That's what this life is. I think it's just to be silly, just silly gooses and silly geese and silly mooses and silly meese and just enjoy it and just spend time in nature and have your puppies and your kittens and your ducks and all you love the things you love around you. Surround yourself with the things you love and good food, obviously. But that's all I want is somebody to be silly with, and ideally, I mean, if they like travel, that would be like the cherry on top. Because your boy likes to travel, and I would love. There's so many places I want to go to and that are still on my bucket list that I'm trying to get to and see and experience. So if they want to travel too, that's just icing on the cake. They don't have to. They don't even have to be into the homestead life, really. I can do that I can do that solo, and they can, or I can be. I mean, like I said, I want to live near the ocean, so that's. I don't know, man. I don't know, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, is there somebody out there like that who is open to all this stuff and who isn't gonna stress me out or isn't gonna like. I know there's every relationship is stressful. Like it comes with moments where there's stress. I'm not saying that, but like different mindsets. Some people are just more on that grind life mindset, which is perfectly okay. Like you do you. I'm never gonna affect the way you're doing your life. You do you. But I'm not a grinder anymore. I don't want that. I don't want to just live my life to grind. Live my life to get a paycheck and live my life that way, So it's like, what are the odds of finding somebody who I'm like, I don't know, man. Does everyone think this way? Like anyone out there who is like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've been single for a long time and I have the thoughts that like, maybe this is, I mean, I know that I'm 31 and I've got plenty of time and, well, not plenty of time, but, there's so many people out there and you never know when you least expect it, when you're not looking for them, that's when they appear kind of thing. But like, I don't know. It's also like, I'm very much go with the flow. So I know I'm saying all this stuff, but that's just like the daydream, like one daydream I have now currently as a single person. I know when I meet someone I click with, then that's the person. Like the daydream changes, right? So that's the thing. You got to be flexible, and I know I'm not set in my ways. the most important thing is like somebody who I can laugh with. That's it. You know, like that's the that's the one thing. It's like if I can be silly, that's it. Because I want to be with someone I can be silly with for the rest of my life. Like I can be silly in year 1 and be silly in year 30. You know, after kids and after the ups and downs and because the ups and downs are gonna happen. You're gonna have down times. But if I can be silly through all that with this person, um, so yeah, that's what I was thinking while I was driving around the beautiful spring day in North Carolina. I just pictured, waking up waking up to someone like I really care about. And it's a rainy Saturday because I love rainy Saturdays, and we sleep in and it's kind of dark in the house, and in my mind it's like a farmhouse, and I put on a pot of coffee, and we kind of putter around the morning and just chill, and I don't know, one thing about me, I've said this before, but like I always, when you add one person into the mix, I feel less of myself. I feel less ideal. If that makes sense. So even in these daydreams, it's hard for me to imagine like being around someone like that consistently and like just enjoying myself. So maybe that's a thing I need to work on. Maybe that's a thing for therapy. Is getting into that situation. Because I've actually looked into therapy a few times, but I want to do it probably in this coming year. I'll probably start, just to experience it and to see. You never know. Maybe I got some things I need to unpack that are worth unpacking. But I think that would be one of them. Is kind of getting to the root of like why I feel constrained whenever, like, even in that daydream of like that homestead. It's hard for me to picture feeling the most free and most comfortable self with even another person if there's a dog, I love it. If there's cats, I love it. You add a person in there, even a person I love it, but not like as much as I want to love it. It's where my heart and my head don't meet. In my head I'm like, I want to love this to the maximum. I have someone I care about and they care about me, and this should be like cloud 9 situation. But like in my heart I'm like, I'm not fully comfortable. I just feel a little bit off, a little bit like altered. So yeah, there's that. I don't know if that's I don't know if anything I'm saying today resonates. I'm kind of tired, and I don't know. We're just shooting the breeze. We're just chatting. But that's just my mindset. That's just, and that doesn't take away from anybody I've loved or anything. That like, it's just who I am. And like I said, that might be a therapy question or a therapy situation I got to dive into and unpack. And I'm open to it. If anything, I'm open-minded. So maybe I really do need to dissect that and figure it out. Or maybe I'll just get more dogs and just live by myself. Just live alone for the rest of my life. Which, like you've heard me say before, I'm all on board for. I could do that easily. I would just drop my dogs off at one of my brothers or sisters for the weeks I want to go travel, and spend the rest of it growing my plants and my carrots and my herbs and my fruits, and working and creating and writing and seeing where that life leads. Because it's like I've said countless times before, I am so good on my own. I am so good, and I feel like it will take a special person for me to to let you in, but B, when I let you in, like, I think I've decided now, like, well, I can't decide what my heart's gonna do. It's gonna do what it wants to do. But like, if we're talking like long term, because I like the idea of marriage. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not like fully, like, it might just not be for me. Um, just because I've seen so many marriages. It's like one of those things. I always come back to it. Like, I think about it all the time, but like, nobody's first marriage seems to work. Like, I know there's I'm only pulling from my specific, but everyone I know, their first marriage does not work out. It's that second marriage that's like fire. Like, it's crazy. It's almost like clockwork. I'll see like a happy couple, like happy as can be, like a good match, right? And most of the time, it's that second marriage. Because by then they've realized what they want and what they don't want, and it's kind of like trial by fire, where it's like you figure out kind of what you're looking for by knowing what you don't want, right? And if you got it right on the first try, man, good. I'm glad for you. I'm happy for you. And if you're on your 10th time and you still don't got it, that's fine too. Like, no judgments, never judgments. I'm just saying, from my experience, I found that like the couples that really catch my eye is like, oh, they seem really happy, or they seem to be compatible. Cause your boy, you know me, I think I said this before. I gotta feel. I can feel when a relationship's not gonna work, and 9 times out of 10, I'm right. Like, I just have this sense when two people are together, whether or not they're gonna last. And like I said, most times that's that second marriage that like really hits, and I'm like, dang, the ones that make me like, even if that second marriage is like, they're already been married for 15, 20 years. Like, it's different. It's just, I can't explain it. It's just what I've experienced and what I've seen. So it's like just the thought of having to do marriage one time first. Like, that's not the mindset, obviously, I would go into when I'm getting married. It's just like what I'm pondering now as a single man. It's like, if you had to go through one marriage first and like have to go through an atrocious like divorce just to get to that second marriage, is that worth it? I don't know. But like I said, those second marriages, they seem to be like the good ones, like they're happy, like genuinely happy. So I don't know. Is it worth it to go through all that? Versus I just could have 12 dogs, 9 cats, a cow, a raccoon, 6 squirrels. I'd be fine, brother. I could ride off into the sunset. That'd be it, And then when my time comes, I'd just bequeath all my animals to my family members, like my nephews or my nieces. Like, whenever I get those guys, I'll give them. I'll be like, hey, you guys take care of them. You get all 17 animals. Yeah, I know you live in the middle of the city, but here's my cow. Here's a 2,000-pound animal. Figure it out. I'm gone. But no, I don't know. That was just my thoughts on that. It's kind of cool being in this spot because like I'm not worried about not finding a person, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not worried about being solo for the rest of my life. That's just, it's like I've always not always, but recently, like, my mindset is more like the person I date, that's like icing on the cake. That's just like extra. My dating relationship, that's like going to add value to my life. It's never going to be one of those things I'm seeking out. It's never going to be my whole meal. That doesn't mean I'm going to love them less or give them less attention or anything like that. It's not that. It's just how I think of like dating relationships now. It's like, oh, that's going to be like an added part of my life. It's not going to be my whole course. It's not going to be like what makes me me. Now, when your boy loves, I love like that dude Noah Calhoun. Let that be known. I'm not. So I don't want that. I know this is. I'm getting into tricky territory where it sounded like I'm apathetic. And that's not the case. When I love hard. Like we've talked about it. It takes me years to get over like somebody. Like years to get over a heartbreak. So like when I fall deep. I fall head over heels, and I fall for years. Um, So don't get that twisted. Don't think I'm like, oh, I don't care about this person. That like, it's just more that I can't. Mm, I don't want to think about whoever I'm dating. I don't want to think about them as my other half. You know, I don't want that. I don't. I think for me, it's healthier to think about it as like I'm my whole person. I'm adding a whole nother person to my life. You know, I'm kind of inviting them and they're inviting me into their world, right? And then over time we kind of build our own, like our secondary world, right? But we still have our worlds, you know, and it's the beauty is merging them together and kind of flowing together, right? But it's never like I have this hole in this part of my world and I need to take this person and fill that up. That's not what I want. That's not, to me, that's, and if that's how you like to think it, do it. But for me, that's not healthy for me because, I don't know, for some reason it doesn't fit in my mind. It just makes me feel like I'm at a negative or like at a loss, you know, and I'm searching for a missing piece versus I'm a complete puzzle set by myself. I'm just adding somebody who's a complete puzzle self. And now instead of 500 pieces, we got 1,000 pieces. And that's dope. Now we get a whole separate image that we're making, right? Like that's in my head. That's fun to think about. That's healthier in my mind frame to. And I like to. It also takes a lot of pressure off when you think about relationships in terms of like being an extra. You know, it's like I could go through my entire life on my main course, just me living life. I'd be perfectly content. I'd be fine. But if I add someone I'm seeing or dating and I think, oh, that's an addition, like not filling a hole, but like an addition to my life. I like that. You know, I'm adding them to my life. I'm welcoming them into my space. And now, yes, the addition is going to change me as a person, but we're going to go through it like that. But yeah, that's kind of how I've been viewing things, especially recently. And it might be a coping mechanism. I don't know. It could be because I protect myself and I don't want to think about it as like. But then when you get a twin flame situation, and it's like you meet somebody who like just feels like your other half, then there gets a little tough. There it's like, then I would just like me and knowing me, I would let it consume me, and I would just go all in with it and toss all this extra stuff out the window. So, like I said, I'm flexible. I don't ever commit. I don't ever get just committed to one train of thought or one idea. You know, I can adapt or I can change, which I don't know. It's just who I am. We're just shooting the breeze, right? We're just having a fun Thursday night conversation, a little convo. But this one I can't do too long because I'm gonna get up early for work in the morning, so I can't. I'm probably gonna have to call it maybe in the next 10 minutes or so, just because I can't be pulling another. Because I anticipate that I'll be up a little later, like writing, so I gotta budget some time out for that, and it's already almost midnight over here on the East Coast. So yeah, but I want to be here maybe Saturday afternoon, Sounds good. That'd be kind of cool. Um, but yeah, I like talking about thoughts and relationships, being silly. It's kind of cool because like my frame of reference. That's why I think it's. I didn't understand it growing up, but like the more I meet people and the more I can recognize the fact that like it is so crucial, like the role models you have in your life and especially when it's like relationships. You know, if you see healthy relationships growing up, or you see people working through things in a healthy manner, like that really really helps. Like it really, I it, it's almost frightening how much that shapes you as a kid. You know, because now I have these vast resource, this like deep pool of like memories of like how my parents handled things and how they treated each other, and you know how they continued to treat each other and how they treat each other now. Like that whole, it's just a continuum of like all these moments and interactions that I can pull from and think like, you know, and what I can base my future on and what I want to be with my future, you know, spouse or partner. So I was thinking about that too. Is just how lucky I was, how fortunate I feel to have witnessed like my mom and dad, you know, going through life together and raising us. And I think about how long life is and how much like, because it's one of those things where, like I said, I don't feel completely comfortable. Like I don't think I've ever dated anyone and felt like completely myself. Like that's just being honest. Like that's just being the most honest I can be. And maybe it's a little too honest. I don't know. Like hopefully no one watches this and gets heartbroken or like feels some type of way. But it's just I want to be honest because like I think the honest bits are what we all gravitate toward. Like I guarantee you, somebody out there, you know, maybe you who felt this exact same way, but nobody talks about it. No one wants to hurt feelings, or no one wants to feel weird, or like be seen as weird. But the honest truth is, anyone I've dated, I've never felt completely myself, like completely comfortable, I guess. You know, and I don't know if that I think that speaks more to me because they've all been like really cool people, really great people, but like I just never I feel like I'm at least some shade of somebody else. Like at least slightly I'm some other version of me. And maybe that's normal, but I just know that the comfortability around it is just not I don't know if that's normal. Or at least I don't know what that speaks on. So yet another thing for therapy, but I've just never, or was it the same thing we were talking about? I don't know. But I've never dated someone and felt completely comfortable. Um so yeah, that's what it'll take. That's what I want. But that leads to the point, like when I think about my parents and I think about just the length of time that I've known them, like that's a long time in my mind. Like that's my whole life pretty much, right? From birth to now, they've seen me through it all. But like I'm thinking about all the different kind of arcs and phases in that life, and like pretty much childhood and this house, and when we're in high school and college and post college, and now like that's a long time. And they were together through it all, and it's a long time to be with somebody. That's a long time to stick with somebody and love them through it all and like them through it all and laugh through it all. And they've done that, you know, through the ups and downs. Like I said, there's been some downs. Like life happens to all of us, you know, so it wasn't all glitz and glamour and happy moments like where it's easy to love somebody. It was like some tough times. But you know, the fact that they chose each other and keep choosing each other is crazy to me. But I'm glad I can see that as something to pull from. But like it also gets me in my head about like, well, dang, that's 30 years of like, and if it's me and I don't have anything to pull from, all I know is like being uncomfortable, like at some level, just a discomfort when I'm sharing my life or sharing my space with somebody. right? So it's like 30 years of that is unthinkable for me. Like I can give you maybe 3 years of that, and then it's just like, and maybe that's why most of our relationships, like at that 3 year mark, it's like at some point I gotta feel comfortable. I gotta feel like me, you know. But but yeah, it's cool. It's I'm glad. Like I said, it's so astounding to me that like role models and relationship role models growing up really can shape and really affect you, and how important it is to see healthy relationships, or at least healthy-ish. You know, they don't have to be perfect, but like, and I wouldn't want them to be perfect, but just healthy ways to handle conflict healthy, or in a healthy manner, and to form resolutions in a healthy manner. That's why I think it's important. Like, I've never ever, and my parents did this too a little bit, but like, I've always believed that, okay, not necessarily fight in front of your kids, but like argue in front of your kids. Like, if you can do it in a healthy manner, I think that's one of the most healthy things you can do. And in a weird way, like, I don't mean like have a knockout drag out fight, like, no, and don't be putting hands on each other. Like, don't, no physical. Nah, we don't accept that here. No physical violence, no physical abuse, never. But if it's like a typical argument, and you maybe somebody didn't take the trash out, and you just arguing over it, I think kids need to see that. You know, as long as it's like a overall a healthy relationship, you know, and you guys aren't fighting every day and fighting constantly, and like that's all they see is this. But like, for example, my parents, they never really had, like, I'm sure they fought about things in a much more serious way than we ever saw, like behind closed doors. But like, they would argue, or they would like get a little catty with each other, or get like, and it was important for me to see that. Like, I needed to see the the realness. I needed to see how, because as a kid, that's how you figure out how to resolve things, is through the people you're seeing. You know, through your parents for the most part, but like your brothers and sisters, your friends, you're seeing how they resolve conflict, and that informs you on how to resolve it, for better or worse. So it's like, I've always thought that it's so crucial. Like, that's why I'm up to a point. Like, up to a point, until it's like, okay, you know, some arguments do get out of hand. You know, and you start, when it comes to a point where you're gonna start regretting what you're saying, then you gotta remove yourself, remove your kids out of the situation, and they shouldn't see. There's a limit, I think, to what they should see, especially when they're young. But I think arguments, you should definitely see. Like, laughter, of course, laughter that's funny. You know, that obviously you want to show them that. But I think there's that especially in the generation before us, there's always that hush hush behind closed doors. Like, they put on a face for the kids, but then behind closed doors they're arguing, or, you know, fighting. And most of the times kids pick up on that anyway. They pick up on it, but all they can pick up from that is like either yelling or energy, like the vibe is off. Like, that's what they go to sleep one day, wake up, and the vibe is off. But they don't have any context. They don't know what's going on. So like, if you can at the dinner table, or when they're doing their homework, if you really, if like something's bugging you, I think it's healthy, and I think it's imperative, especially for the next generation, is to see their parents argue a little. You know, be real about it, because that's what the kids will pull upon and draw upon in their relationships in the future. Is, okay, now at least in some point in time, they can have a frame of reference. Oh, this is how my parents resolved this, or I've seen my parents fight about this. It's no big deal. You know, I forgot to take the trash out. I'm sorry. I get it. You know, that was my bad. I remember my mom and dad fought about this like several times. It's like, it's cool. It's normal. It didn't make or break. And later that week, they were, you know, kissing and watching movies and taking us out for ice cream. Like, whatever it is, like, you know, I'm getting hot under the collar, but like I just don't like the idea of hiding this like real the bad stuff away from your kids, you know, up to a point. Like, and that's the fine line, is like how much do you show your kids and how much do you don't. But like, I think even more so than what my parents did, I want to show my kids even more. I want to show them the tough days, you know. I want to show them like, look, Pops is feeling a little depressed today, you know. I'm not like I can't, you know. I don't have the energy to take you to the park, and here's why, you know. But we'll go as soon as I'm feeling better, right? Or, you know, Mom and I, you know, we got into an argument, and so now I'm gonna drive you to school, right? But her and I, we're gonna talk about it later tonight, and we're gonna figure it out, and maybe I'll have to take you to school more time, or maybe I should take you tomorrow. Things like that, where it's like, I think it's important to have the kids involved, because they're involved no matter what. You know, they're gonna pick up on everything no matter what. Like, that's what I learned, you know, in all my times counseling and all my times being around kids. It's like they pick up so much more than even we realize. You know, we always think, oh, because they're little or they're underdeveloped, they don't know what's going on. But oftentimes they know what's going on better than we do. Like, they may not know the specifics, but they know. They read body language. They know Dad's not smiling today when he's usually smiling, or Mom's not wearing the perfume she usually wears. So what's going on? Something's off. You know, they pick up on everything. That's all they do. Like, because kids, it's like how they communicate with most of the world is by you know, not necessarily by what they speak and what they communicate verbally, but like everything else. Attitude, energy, you know, body language, all of that, because their communication skills aren't at that adult level, right? So they have to tune into everything else, and so they're hypersensitive, whether we think it or not, to everything we're doing and everything we're saying. So I think it's very important, like at the very least, to give them context to a situation, or context to a argument, or context to a like. I think we should be so much more transparent. And I really respect, I've been around some parents who are this way, and that's why it kind of, like, one of my friends, she is so, probably more open than I would be with my kid, if I'm being honest. But, like, she is so open, and she, like, explains to them, like, hey, yo, I'm feeling anxious right now. My anxiety's up to here. Like, I can't take you to the pool right now. I'm about to have a panic attack. And, like, they're kids, so sometimes they don't know what that means, so they're just like, but, like, now they have the context. Now, you know, maybe in the future they are getting a panic attack, and they can pull from their mom saying this and be like, oh, you know, what did my mom do when she was feeling this way? You know, we stayed home, we, you know, put some calm music on or TV on, and we kind of just relaxed, right? But like, if my friend didn't do that and just didn't explain to her kid that, you know, this was happening, all she would see is her mom just shutting down, and you know, no context, right? Give kids context. Give kids, you know, it's just, and I know I don't have a leg really to stand on because I'm not a parent, so you can take this with a grain of salt, you know. But I'm the parent who's gonna teach or like talk to the kids like they're human, like they're adults, like not like highbrow stuff, but you know, I'm gonna explain to them. I'm gonna, like, at least that's my intention. That's my hope is, you know, obviously once they're old enough, like they're not gonna be like, well, one of their babies, I'm gonna talk to them like regular anyway. I don't like baby talk, but once they hit like 4 or 5, 3, 4, 5, I'm gonna like explain to them in context. Like, I'm gonna give them frame of reference and things that, like, you know, why is Dad in a bad mood today? Well, I had a tough day at work, and, you know, I wasn't agreeing with my boss, and it was stressful. Or why is Mom mad at Daddy? Or, you know, on the flip side, why is Daddy smiling? Well, because, you know, Mommy got him a gift for his birthday, or things like that. It could be a million different things where it's just like, it's important to give your kids context. And I really love and respect the fact that my parents did that to a point. Like they gave us context, and like when we were old enough, they were like, we're going through it right now, and this is why, and this is happening, this is the situation, just wanted to let you guys know so you're not like just drowning and you're just trying to, because kids are going to come up with any thought in their head. They're going to blame themselves. They're going to, it is what it is. But if you can like explain to them, even from a young age, what's going on, I think it's better to do that than to hide it away, And I don't like that phrase like that. Oh, we're protecting your kid. Like, yeah, you're really just protecting yourself, in my opinion. It's like under the guise of protecting a kid. Like there's that fear of like showing your child your vulnerability, right? It's like generationally, like I think each generation gets a little bit better at being vulnerable with their kid. Maybe I'm wrong, but I was just picturing the 50s, like nobody was saying anything. It was like Leave It to Beaver, like the cleavers, just like perfect face on the outside, but like inside everyone was just suffering, and no one was saying anything real, and no one was talking about like depression, and no one was talking about anxiety or like just things like that. I always think about Sylvia Plath, who was like she was like, she's one of my favorite authors, and like from what I've surmised, it's like she just felt so constrained in society, and she had no one to like speak to openly and no one to talk to, and she ended up killing herself. And it's like it was like all there in her writing, where she just could not. There was no. We weren't open. There was no outlets for her to just speak and be listened to, especially as a woman, like in that era, like I think 50s and 60s, like, and I think she maybe was born in the 40s or 50s. I don't know, but like no one was saying anything. No one was showing real emotion or real like struggle. Like you would just put on that painted face, and you would like your neighbors would all think you're perfectly happy, but home life was completely different. I think it's important to show. Maybe you don't have to show your neighbors. That's fine. That's I don't think I would, but like show your kids. Show your kids that like if you're feeling depressed, tell them like, yo, I'm depressed today. Like I can't. If you're feeling anxious, let them know, or at least try to like explain in words they can understand. Like, mommy's not feeling great right now. Mommy, his heart is moving a mile a minute, and I can't. We gotta have some timeout time, okay? Or things like that. That just I think that's so beneficial. But I don't know. I was gonna get off quite a while ago, but we got into that tangent, and I don't know. Anyways, I'm probably gonna take a quick bath and call it a day. But I'm glad to see you guys here. Hope you're having an amazing Thursdays. Hope you're having fun. It's been nice and chilly. Not chilly, but like a little cooler here. Down in the south, so it feels like spring. It feels lovely. I'm excited to go into work every day and at least be outside. So please take advantage of the springtime. Take advantage of wherever you're at. May, wherever you're at, is usually like one of the most like the most beautiful months. So just enjoy it. Spend some time outside if you can. Spend some time with your feet in the grass. Like, go outside. Make it a point to take your socks off and put your feet in the grass, and just bare feet on cool grass is like does something to you innately, just something to your spirit, to your soul, to your mind, that just heals. So put your feet in the grass and just maybe spend a few minutes just listening to the wind or whatever it is. But yeah, enjoy May, enjoy this springtime, because it's gonna be summer quick. It's gonna be summer before you know it. It's gonna be hot, and everyone has their own opinions on it. But I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go probably do a little more writing and then conk out for bed so I can wake up refreshed on a Friday. But yeah, my guess is I will try to be here on Saturday. Maybe I'll have a topic, or maybe we'll just chat some more. I want to tell you guys more about Attorney Woo, and maybe more of my writing, and I don't know, things that are things. But I hope you're having a blast. I hope you're staying cozy. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I hope you have amazing evenings. I hope you eat some ice cream or something yummy. I don't know. I want some ice cream. Sleep well. See y'all.